Macca's Guides.
Hey everyone, Macca here playing Warhammer 40k, Space Marine 2, and in this video I'm going to show you all 35 of the Dataslates available in the game. You'll find them spread out amongst the 7 main missions of the game as well as the 6 operations. You can go to your battle barge and view the Dataslate repository at any time to see the ones you do and don't have, and collecting all 35 will give you a ton of backstory and lore as well as unlock an achievement or trophy. We get started on the first main mission of the campaign called Skyfire. You see that in the top left of the screen. Once you get the objective to make your way through the swamp, go up the hill, keeping to the left between the plants to find your data slate. You'll continue making your way through the swamp until you reach this bridge, which has been destroyed. You'll need to jump down and go up the ramp. There will be a bunch of enemies here, but as you make your way to the top of the ramp, instead of continuing along the path, go straight. This will allow you to jump into an area that was previously not accessible. Directly in front of you on the tree, find your second of 35 data slates. This one is called Admission of Desertion.
Captain Iden gave the order.
We'll eventually battle outside of a base and reach a tunnel. Here you'll take out some enemies, you'll be able to change your loadout, and you'll open up this door to make your way through. If you were to follow your objective, at the intersection you would take a right-hand turn. Instead, continue forward and up the stairs, finding your data slate near the top. The next objective will take you outside, and you'll have to reach the targeting station, which is this large building in front of us. You'll cross a bridge to get to it with an elevator directly in front of you. Taking that elevator is your objective. However, what we want to do is go around the elevator to find your data slate before taking it up. I've organized this video to show the campaign missions first and the operations at the end, but if you're doing them in a different order, use the time links down below. So we move on to the second mission of the campaign called Severance. You'll reach this section as you're trying to reach the facility, your main objective. Follow the path up to the left, looking behind the vehicle to find the data slate. Also, a special shout out to AJ for capturing many of the clips used in this video. The next collectible in the Severance mission is available once you reach this large gate on your way to locating the transmitter. As you go through the gate and head inside, at the back of the room, you should notice a bright red light that lights a small room. Head into there before following your objective to grab the data slate.
Disgusting. And they can eat clean through ceramite. Given half a chance.
Our objective then continues to be to locate the transmitter. You'll come around this corner and interact with a console that will open up a door. This will release a bunch of enemies, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit until I defeat them all. After you defeat all of the enemies, go through the door that you opened up to release them and head to the right towards the kind of fan exhaust. And at the end of the walkway here, you'll find that data slate we're after. The objective now is to reach the crash site, and we did get access to a new movement tool, which is the jetpack. As we enter the first cave, look up and to the left, use your jetpack to get up and onto this little platform, and up here you can find the next data slate.
Personal log, cycle 42.
We then move on to the next main mission of the campaign, and we're asked to reach the elevator control room. We'll use this kind of bridge that goes between 2 building rooftops, and as you go across it, keep to your left to end up on the rooftop of the building you moved to. Up here, find your data slate.
Identify the cause of your collapse. Focus on the mission, Sergeant. As you wish, my lord.
On the repair
You'll then be following your main mission marker, asked to proceed to the data banks. You'll come to these broken down tubes, and the data slate is actually directly in front of you, but you'll have to follow the tunnels here towards your mission marker, and the game asks you to turn left to proceed at this small intersection. Instead, we're going to turn right to end up behind those pipes that were in front of us when we entered, and here you can see the data slate. Nearing the end of the mission, still being asked to proceed to the data banks, you'll have this option to basically assemble at the end, which proceeds a little bit further. Instead, what we're going to do is just go straight through the door in front of us. At the end of the hall, take a right-hand turn. This room is a bit dark, but in the corner, find the data slate. Moving on to the next campaign mission, Servant of the Machine, very close to the main path here. We'll open up this small gate in front of us and then take a left-hand turn, noticing the loadout change available in front of us. But if we take a quick detour to the left here, find the data slate before you grab a new loadout. This next one is very similarly placed. You'll have an objective here to advance to the temple, and you'll be along the main path. As you come down this ramp into the left, you may notice a loadout directly in front of you again. But instead, we're going to take a turn to the right-hand side and follow all the way down that hill to find the data slate in the corner. We move on to the next main mission, Void Song, and this is right when the objective changes. We're asked to get to the relay, and as we get to the relay, the objective will change to restore the power to the door. We'll go past the loadout selection, and in the corner, you'll be able to find the data slate next to a few enemies waiting with a surprise. A little bit later on in the mission, we are asked to advance to the relay entrance. We now also have access to our jetpack. As you come outside, use that jetpack to get onto the platform directly in front of you, noticing the loadouts, and then use that jetpack to get up and to the right of the loadouts. There's a small platform here with the data slate. The last data slate in the Void Song mission is available during the objective, where we're asked to transmit a message. You'll follow the main path and see some flamethrower NPCs here. As you come down the steps, make sure you hook around to the right before you move on. We're now on the main mission, Dawn's Descent, just in front of the cathedral, which is our objective. And before we head inside, let's use our jetpack to get up on the platform here. And we're going to actually go kind of around the wall here on the outer edge. It seems like there might not be anything here, but there's a cliff with some tombstones and our collectible. On the way to the facility, if you follow the main path, you'll end up in front of a statue with the objective marker telling you to go to the right. Instead, keep to the left and head downhill when possible. At the bottom of the hill, you'll find a small little camp here, and next to that camp, you'll see the glowing green data slate. A little bit later on, you'll be asked to explore the ruins. As you come up the stairs, you can take a right-hand turn to follow that main objective. But before you do that, you want to take a left-hand turn, which kind of makes you look back where you came from. And here on the edge, you'll find the collectible before you move on and explore the ruins. A little bit later on, this one's pretty easy. On our main mission path, you'll come across this bridge, noticing the blue on both sides. And just off to the right, next to all of this equipment, you'll find that collectible next to a downed person. We move on to our last campaign mission of the game. We are seeking out the second company position. On that objective, we drop down into this area. Instead of going straight, hook to your left and follow the path to the end, and you should be able to find a data slate here. We'll continue along with the mission, told to advance to the second force. As you enter this room, there is a coffin directly in the middle, and instead of going and continuing your main objective, head past it and up the stairs on the other side of the room. At the top of those stairs, go to the left to find the collectible. This will be your last data slate in the campaign. As we're told to advance to the obelisk, you'll come across this tunnel with the glowing blue lights, and then you'll want to take a turn to the right, hook around just a little bit, and find that data slate before you complete the campaign. We now move on to the 6 operations of the game, with each operation having exactly 2 data slates. Near the beginning of Operation Inferno, you'll be told to reach the camp, and as you turn left, you can go up a hill and underneath a bridge. But first, you want to explore these kind of ruins to our right. As you enter, you should notice a data slate at the end of the tunnel. Much later on in the mission, as we're advancing to the observation platform, you'll enter this very obvious room, and our goal here for the collectible is to follow up the ramp to the left, past the tank, up the next little ramp in front of us. All of this area is optional, but it is on the way to the main objective, and to the left you can find a little alcove here with the data slate. We move on to the second operation, Decapitation. You'll notice there's a little bit of a trend where one of the collectibles is near the beginning and one of the collectibles is near the end of the operation. You'll enter into this kind of large cathedral with the stairs in front of you. There are a ton of enemies in this area, but if you follow up the staircase to the very tip-top highest floor, and you'll end up on a little bit of a balcony, turn to the left to find the data slate instead of going to the right towards your objective.
People are just rushing through.
A little bit later on in the mission, as you're pursuing the Hive Tyrant, you'll end up in this underground facility along the main path. You'll enter into this room where a bunch of enemies will be found. There's like a little bit of a shrine to your right-hand side, but go to the end of the room to the far corner from where we entered, and here next to a kind of fan vent, you can find what you're looking for. Near the beginning of Operation 3, you'll take this lift. At the top of the lift, you'll notice this bridge we're going to go across. A ton of enemies will be here. There'll be a couple of fights, but we'll go down this ramp as a part of our main path to take down the warp shielding. Instead of continuing down the ramp, take a left-hand turn and then go up the other ramp. Here, finding a small little alcove with, I believe, a couple of pickups as well as the data slate. You'll then reach a part of the mission where you take an elevator down. You'll have to take a detour on the 3rd floor to repower the elevator. But once you reach the bottom floor, floor 1, take a look to the right-hand side after you clear out all the enemies, probably. And here you can find a data slate before you move forward and exit this large room. Now for Operation Reliquary, again, we're going to follow that same pattern. Near the beginning of the mission, we're asked to proceed to the warp beacon. You'll jump down and you'll have to find a fusion core here. But before you do all that, let's just go up the ramp to the left at the top of the stairs. On the farthest corner from the stairs, find the data slate before doing your objective. You'll then end up outside, still on your way to the warp beacon. There will be something raining fire down on you, and you'll have to kind of go along the path between breaks, and you'll end up inside of this tower in front of you here. Make sure you take a quick pit stop to the right-hand side on the balcony to pick up the collectible. During the next operation, you'll clear the passage, and then you'll drop down into a room. Directly in front of you will be a loadout, and your main objective is to go forward into the tunnel. Instead, head to the opposite direction of the exit, and at the back of the room, you can find it on the ground. A little bit later on in this mission, you'll reach this giant rig, and you'll have to go up it using a series of ramps. As you go up these ramps, there will be a ton of enemies that will fight you and attack you. But near the top of the ramps, instead of continuing along the main path, take a quick detour to the left, finding your data pad there before you move on using that main path. Operation 6 is called Ballistic Engine. You'll make your way through a sandstorm, open up a door to end up in the facility. After you open up that door, stick to the right-hand side, keep going to the right into the extra room here. In the corner, pick it up before you move on. Now, last but not least, you obviously want to drop a like on this video and share it with a friend before you pick up this collectible. But nearing the end, you'll reach this kind of train depot. You'll drop down into the area. As soon as you drop down, there will be enemies, but if you take a peek to your left, run all the way and look behind the tank, you can find your 35th data slate if you've been following along. Thanks for watching, and a special thanks to everyone on Patreon for supporting the show. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Peace.